What's a let that sink in fun fact? Gwen Stefani is older than Ted Cruz. Didn't believe this. Googled. It's true. That shit is bananas. Bananas. Your bones are wet. I now feel weird. Now all I can think about is my bones slipping and sliding around under my muscles. I don't like it. This is a really unpleasant experience. Everyone just stop. Sklip sklip sklip, there go them bones. Sklip sklip sklip. When NASA pitched the idea of the Voyager missions to Richard Nixon with the idea of touring the outer planets, he was told that the last time it was possible, Thomas Jefferson was in the White House. The particular planetary alignment that Voyager 2 used on its journey occurs only once every 176 years. Jefferson really dropped the ball. Fuck Louisiana. We cold the St. Louis and Clark to Mars. It took humanity approximately 4 times longer to switch from copper swords to steel swords than it took to switch from steel swords to nuclear bombs. When will we get nuclear swords? The man who invented the frisbee was cremated and turned into a frisbee. Okay. But how? My son was cremated, and there's no way I could turn his ashes into a frisbee. Would probably have been mixed with the melted plastic. Side note. My sons were also cremated. Fuck 2017. And we keep their ashes in a teddy bear, so we can cuddle them whenever we want. Sons. Damn, that's harsh. I know there isn't anything anyone can say, but I'm really sorry for your loss. Next to the US Army, Disney World is the largest buyer and importer of explosives in the USA. I was wondering what Mickey needed nukes for, before I remembered fireworks exist. There was a time in history when trees existed, but the fungi which causes wood to rot had not yet evolved to digest wood. Dead trees and plants would pile up, and the 35% oxygen atmosphere caused massive fires. This is also the time where petrified wood came from. Trees would sit in mud for 1000s of years and not rot, while minerals slowly replaced the wood structures. Fires in 35% oxygen and wood everywhere. I'd be fucking petrified too. If the sun were scaled down to the size of a white blood cell, the Milky Way galaxy would be the size of the continental United States. The vastness of space is mind-boggling. Scientists who work with cockroaches often develop allergies towards cockroaches. At the same time, they also develop allergies to pre-ground coffee. I don't like where this is going. Das just protein, baby. In the span of the last 3 Star Wars movies, the Cleveland Browns have won 1 game. Why you gotta do my Browns like that? The UK Dyslexia Association is situated in Reading. Pronounced Reading _ to those unaware. Also pronounced Reading to those who are aware. The US Navy has the 2nd largest air force in the world. The US Army has the 3rd. Maine is the closest US state to Africa. I bless the Maines down in Africa. The Titanic had 2 sister ships, the Britannic and the Olympic. There was a woman called Violet Jessop, a nurse and a cruise liner stewardess, that worked on all 3. The Olympic crashed into a warship whilst leaving harbor, but was able to make it back. She was on the Titanic as it sank, and is referenced in the Titanic film. A stewardess that was told to set an example to the non-English speaking passengers as the ship sank. She looked after a baby on lifeboat 16 until being rescued by the Carpathia the next day. It's not known what exactly caused the sinking of the Britannic, but the lifeboats hit the water too early. As the ship sank, the reel lifted up, and a number of the lifeboats were sucked into the propellers. Violet had to jump out of the lifeboat she was in, and sustained a serious head injury, but survived. She was on board for all 3 incidents in the space of 5 years. She went back to continue to work at sea for another 30 years before retiring in 1950. She died of heart failure in 71. How her 3 literal sinking facts. There are more chickens in America than people on the planet. Neutron stars have such strong gravity that, if you dropped a marshmallow into one, it would be like dropping a 3 megaton nuclear warhead on Earth. Also, if you add mass to a neutron star, the volume of the star shrinks. There is, on average, a supernova explosion every 50 years in the Milky Way. On average, there are 30 every second in the observable universe. This one is probably the best let that sink in fact here. Let me just repeat that. Do you know how big the universe must be if it's 30 every second, while taking 50 years in our galaxy? Hella big. Pro tip: don't Google big at work. The first electric car was invented at the end of the 19th century, and it went 65 miles per hour. Because early gas engines had very low torque, some of the earliest cars were gas electric. The overall goal in golf is to play less golf. This is analogous to my approach at my job. There are more tigers privately owned in Texas than tigers in the wild. The Holy Roman Empire existed until 30 years after the United States was founded, 1776 to 1806. Everyone seems to forget about the Holy Roman Empire. See? The moon orbits us from the west to the east, but we see it move across the sky east to west because of the rate of the Earth's rotation. Our observation is like being in a faster car watching a slower car heading in the same absolute direction, fall further and further behind us. The entire continent of South America is east of Florida. I read this, said bullshit out loud, looked at a map, am now in awe. How have I never noticed this before? The US dropped 26,172 bombs last year, 2016. That's almost 72 per day. That's about 3 bombs an hour, every hour, for the entire year. In 2017, the US had already dropped more bombs than that by September. I felt this in my tax dollars. As you get closer to black hole, time goes slower. This means that everything farther away would experience time faster and faster as you get closer and closer to the black hole. A second for you could be a billion years for those outside of it. Thus, if you fell into a black hole and looked outside, you would see the universe die with you. Don't let me leave, Murph. Fanta started as a Coca-Cola substitute in 1940s Nazi Germany. So if you like Fanta you must be a Nazi. Jewish here, fuck. Next year, there will be porn stars who were born in 2000. I'll be honest, I'm not looking forward to the day I ID someone for a drink and see 2000 on their passport. The United States hasn't minted any new Purple Heart medals since World War II. We've been using the stockpile that was prepared in anticipation of a ground invasion of Japan. Dang. That's morbid, but super interesting. There was a period of time where 4 distinct species of human lived concurrently. But everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Bing Crosby advocated for salmon conservation in the North Atlantic against Denmark's overfishing in the early 1970s. The Danish government banned everything Bing Crosby in Denmark. But because he was so popular there, the Danish people protested the government, making them overturn the Bing Crosby law and even to enact salmon conservation legislation. Bing Crosby single-handedly managed to create a piece of Danish law